Hey everyone, it's Brett Hornby here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel here on this merry Boxing Day. I mean, not too sure what else you could say about this particular day, but I know some people decide to go camp out after they're having their Christmas dinner and look for deals at big box stores, but not this guy. I find there's nothing worth going out for on this day to fight for crowds, and yours truly, I was on the trenches on the other side of the counter where I used to work retail, and I also used to work retail or security in a retail environment, and yeah, this is definitely time of year I definitely relate to those, and you're extra burnt out at this time of year, and you only get barely that one day, and most of it you're tired from working up till Christmas, and then realizing you gotta do it all again the next day on Boxing Day there, but just here making some videos here, and just on Christmas Eve there, I actually made my entire collection of wearables, jerseys, hats, hoodies, t-shirts, and then that one surprise item there. I want you to go see that video to find out what that surprise video is. I did add timestamps in the description so you can jump to it, but didn't realize my video was going to be that long, but thanks for those who watched. But actually, this is my kind of a Christmas haul video. Not absolutely everything that I got for Christmas here, but I do have a couple more items to add to my collection here. Because I actually do have 2 items to support my Calgary sports videos here. And, I kind of briefly went over a little bit of a wish list there on videos there, but maybe some prayers were answered, as I was quite happy with a couple of items that I got here from my grandmother, so thank you very much. So first item here, well, I actually got another hat here, and now I have 2 hats for the Calgary Hitmen. Let's go Hitmen here, and this is actually a much more modern version of the Calgary Hitmen. As you can see here, the colors and that. It's kind of that old style trucker hat here, and you can see here's the primary Hitman logo there, with the Jason mask. Look like Brett Hitman art there. It's definitely a sweet logo here, and you can see the Hitman word mark here with the close up of the Jason Voorhees mask there. And yeah, this is the kind of the old style trucker's hat here. Trucker style here, so, that's my trucker's hat if I ever decide to be a trucker here, but, let's go Hitman here. So now I have 2 Hitman hats here. Definitely one that's a little more modern here, so, you'll definitely see these coming up in future videos. However, I actually got a jersey here, and some of my prayers are answered, but here is the jersey that I got. Look at that. I actually got a modern, well, I'm hopefully saying this is going to be our new road jerseys, as I kept saying, and actually my grandmother, she's also on social media, and she actually heard my post about, I think Calgary Flames, they should go back to their retro jerseys, so inspired I know what to give me. So yeah, this is the alternate white jersey here, which is the original. Other than the red shoulder patches are a little bigger, and actually it does have the Heritage Classic logo, the 2019 Heritage Classic that we wore in Regina there when we took on the Winnipeg Jets here. But there's no one on the back here, not to support the that family joke about team, I get a player of a team, and player gets traded here, but as more removed we've gotten from these jerseys and the original Reds, that as if you go back to my retro jersey schedule video there, where we actually are wearing the Reds or alternate Reds more often. These are nice red jerseys that we wore, and it was great to get the red jerseys back here, but the more removed we've been from these guys and the original Reds, the more I want them back, because we've had so many jerseys over the years, as you saw with my collection here. But the best days of the Calgary Flames franchise on the ice whereas when we wore these guys. And the original Reds, where we won the Stanley Cup at the Montreal Forum in 1989. I mean, I just love these because I remember, seeing Liam McDonald, Joe Nieuwendyk, and Joey Mullen. Remember Joey Mullen when he was a Flame? And remember Doug Gilmour, Theron Fleury, young Theron Fleury, young Gelato, Gary Roberts, Mike Vernon in net. I mean, Mike Vernon was wearing these when he made those big saves in Game 7 in overtime, and Gelato went and scoring that big goal, and Al McInnes, Gary Suter. I mean, those are all the great Flames that wore these, and we've had the most regular season success in there, and that seems to be the trend in sports that everyone's going back to their original colors, and it's just my prediction. But I mean, last year in the unfortunately we only had 3 home playoff games because we had a brief cameo with the Colorado Avalanche, but they announced that last year the Calgary Flames were going to wear the Retro Reds for all home playoff games. We only had 3, unfortunately. But I just have a feeling that if we get into the playoffs for 2020 here, that they're going to announce that those original Reds are going to be wearing for all home games. But I think they're going to be wearing these on the road. I mean, lots of teams I could think of that have gone back to their original jerseys. I mean, Buffalo. I mean, the Buffalo Sabres changed their color scheme and logos and eventually gone back. And the Pittsburgh Penguins, it's another team that, they eventually wore their retros again. And they look great again. And, they wore their originals at home and so wear their whites on the road. But actually, Calgary has one more game that they're going to wear this at a home game here if you go back to my retro schedule, because they wore these at the Heritage Classic. And they actually wore these when they played the Montreal Canadiens, and that's one team that got some nostalgia for beating, because that's who we beat to win the Stanley Cup there. However, we did lose in overtime both times we wore these jerseys, but I think eventually we'll overcome that. It just worked out. We won't wear these twice, but I just absolutely love this. And this is the original Flaming C. I mean, it's the same shape. I mean, the C and the fingers there. But, it was cool when we brought the black in, but the more we've gotten removed from these jerseys, both this and the retro, the more I really, really want them back. And, if my grandmother saw my post that, that's the jerseys I love, and maybe eventually the Calgary Flames will. But I even asked, Flames Fanatic stores, I'm going to start asking even the employees at the Fanatic, just say, honestly, do you want these back, or do you remember them? Because I remember at a recent Roughnecks game, I was looking for the Roughnecks Champs gear, and still can't find any, but I asked a lady that there, and she was younger, and I actually asked do you remember when the Flames wore these in the original Reds full time, and she said just barely, but I think it was because she was very young. But then I asked her, do you think we should go back to these, because I think these were the best ones, and she's on the gray, and I think I'm in the majority of most Flames fans that, it's time to go back to these. That's the only thing that's different about these ones. I mean, it's just how the form fitting. I mean, you can definitely tell the striping is different. I mean, you don't see that goofy stripe on the side here, but these are exactly the exact striping from the bottom, the top, and I just say the only thing different, and it actually looks bolder now, is there's more of the red shoulder, because it didn't go down as deep. This one compared to the ones that we wore from 1980 to 1994, there before we had those pedestal striped jerseys with the slanted numbers, and that was cool and radical back in the 90s here, but here we are approaching 2020. The more things that change, the more that stay the same, and enough for this jersey, but I want these back. I want to see Calgary wear these on the road here, and as much as we had a run with these, and of course in my collection there, I had the first time we've gotten this style there that we wore when we won the Western Conference in 2004 there, and they really say should have won the Stanley Cup, but we won the cup with these guys. Well, we wore the Rhodes Reds because we were in Montreal, but as I say, we had our best days in these colors, and So yeah, you're definitely going to be seeing this in more future videos here when I talk Flames here. So that's that's my Christmas haul when it comes to my sports collection and what I added here. So bring back the Calgary Hitmen hat here and this jersey here. And I was about to wear it, but then this is how I stand and on around there. You only see the top here, but so yeah, here it is. Go Flames go, and this is definitely Let's Go Hitmen. But I really, really, really want these back full time. I'm glad I have this in my collection here, and I think eventually I'm going to have to buy myself the original red in this style too, that I can wear more often. I mean, it's a sweater there, and I had that in my childhood, and it's just a collectible now as it's a little too small. And although I actually have been working on my figure here, but I see more value now as you get older and collecting jerseys. And going back to the hockey guy with what I watch on YouTube, and I think the hockey guy actually has this in his collection, has this jersey. He definitely has original reds as well, even the really original reds, because you can see the different striping here. But yeah, so as I say, if you enjoy everything I do on my YouTube channel, just make sure you hit like, subscribe, and follow along here. And let's go Hitmen, go Flames, and I'll see you in the next video here.